Here are the stories making the headlines today. Kidnapped Kaduna Catholic priest released by bandits less than 48 hours. Aviation workers suspend planned strike, sign fresh MOU with federal government. Driver demands justice against Castlear officials for death of conductor in Kaduna. And on the foreign scene, Morocco holds funeral for a Yan Oram, 5-year-old trapped in a well. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Zainab Bala. Hello and welcome. Now, Reverend Father Joseph Shekari, kidnapped by gunmen, has regained freedom after 48 hours in captivity. The Chancellor of Kafanchan Catholic Diocese, Reverend Father Emmanuel Okolo, confirmed the release to Channels Television. He said Reverend Father Shekari is released at about 10 p.m. on Monday night. Okolo, however, did not state if any ransom is paid to the gunmen or not before they release the Reverend Father. He appreciated those who offered prayers for the quick release of the priest and prayed for the repose of the soul of the cook killed during the kidnap. The bandits on Sunday night stormed St. Monica's Catholic Church Parish in Ikulu Pariu of Kaura local government area of Kaduna State and made away with the priest. The gunmen also killed the Reverend Father's cook, who is a secondary school student, before taking the priest away to an unknown destination. It was also reported that the gunmen carted away an unspecified amount of money realized from a Thanksgiving service on that Sunday. Now, police in Zamfara have rescued 5 kidnapped victims in Kuchinkalgu Forest of Safi local government area in Zamfara State. Police spokesperson SP Muhammad Shehu, who stated this at a briefing in Gusau, said 4 of the victims hail from Zuru local government area of Kebbi State, but were abducted along Yankara Safi Road, while the bandits abducted the other victim in Kwantagora local government area of Niger State. SP Shehu said all the victims were rescued unconditionally during an extensive search and rescue operation conducted at Kunchinkalgu Forest and have undergone medical treatment and debriefed by the police. The command further called on the public to continue to support security operatives in the ongoing operations against bandits and other criminal elements in the state. Still ahead, associations and unions in the aviation industry on Tuesday suspended their planned nationwide industrial action built to commence on Tuesday after signing a fresh memorandum of settlement with the federal government. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Christine Ngige, stated this while briefing journalists after the meeting on Tuesday. He said after deliberations on the issues which the parties agreed as germane, the meeting resolved that the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission should issue a service-wide circular informing all organizations of the public and private sectors that they are bound to implement the national minimum wage of 2019 and consequential adjustments. The complaints are the non-implementation of the minimum wage consequential adjustment in the aviation parastatals since 2019 and the non-approval and release of the reviewed conditions of service in the parastatals. Still ahead, a Kano State High Court has adjourned the hearing into the killing of 5-year-old Hanifa to February 14th in order to allow the suspect have legal representation. Presiding Judge Justice Usman Naabba ruled that the case cannot continue without legal representation for the accused. Meanwhile, the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Lawal Musa says a legal aid will be provided to Abdul Malik Tonko and his co-accused standing trial over the kidnap and killing of the 5-year-old pupil.
To Delaware, the Ministry of Justice has already prepared a charge against Abdul Malik and the other 2 defendants. Today, we're supposed to apply for the charge to be read to them, but unfortunately, they did not have legal representation. This is a very serious offense, capital offense, which of course the Constitution says that you cannot try a person without legal representation. You heard the court ask them and they said they have no legal representation and that they wanted the state to provide one for them. We are only getting the information now, so but we have undertaken to the court that we are going to provide one for them, and we ask for next Monday, that is 14th of February, by 2 p.m. So before then, the state will ensure that they have legal representation, and so that the case can go on smoothly. But I'd like to assure you that as far as the Ministry of Justice is concerned, we are fully ready for this case. We are ready to present our witnesses immediately once the charge is read to their understanding and their plea taken.
Still ahead, Men Against Rape Foundation lauds the decision of management of Dowen College to resign their positions as founder and members of the management board of the college in the wake of controversies surrounding the death of its student, 12-year-old Sylvester Oromoni. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, Executive Director of the Anti-Rape Foundation, committed to curtailing all the forms of sexual and gender-based violence across Nigeria, Lemi Ugegbe says the resignation of the founder and board members was a mark of honor.
So many people that we observed in various portals, including social media, were saying, how does this bring Sylvester back? But for those of us who have been in the business of working towards eliminating all forms of sexual and gender-based violence, it is significant to us. You would recall that since Sylvester's ordeal broke out with all the videos that trended on social media, Nigerians had been very outraged by it, and have been calling for justice for Sylvester. We are committed to insisting that there must be justice for Sylvester.
Ugegbe advised that other schools enmeshed in alleged cases of sexual molestation of their students should emulate the example by Dowen College instead of grandstanding and embarking on propaganda simply in a bid to preserve their business interest.
And because of that, they announced that they are resigning in order to rejig the administrative architecture and do better in the interest of the Nigerian child. That is a mark of honor, and we want to commend them for it, and urge other schools, particularly those who are still undergoing investigations over incidents of sexual abuses and molestation, over incidents of criminal negligence or negligence as you may call it, and they are currently being investigated, that they should emulate that step taken by Dowen. Because more often than not, most of these schools, because of business interests, continually deny any wrong without doing a real self-examination in order to check where are we going wrong, what are we doing right, let's improve on the right, let's correct the wrong. This is our interest, because the Nigerian child is increasingly endangered.
Driver of the truck that official of Kaduna State Traffic Law Enforcement Agency Castley allegedly killed the conductor calls on the concerned authorities to do justice to the soul of his deceased 20-year-old colleague Masaudu Adamu. The tipper driver Abubakar Muhammad said this when speaking with journalists in Kaduna.
The driver and the deceased conductor came from Bauchi State to deliver goods they were hired to bring to Kaduna. However, on Ali Akilu Road traffic lights junction, officials of Castley had some misunderstanding and the driver and his conductor got more than they bargained for. The driver sustained injuries while the conductor Masaudu Adamu was later confirmed dead by doctors.
We came
to Kaduna on Friday to deliver goods I bought for one company. On reaching to Angwan Sariki traffic lights junction, trying to do a U-turn, and we were given the green light to pass. Before I turned to the other lane, one of the Castley officials started throwing sticks on us and destroyed my reverse light. After we parked, they surrounded us and started beating us with sticks, and we were unarmed. This led to the death of my conductor.
Police Public Relations Officer of Kaduna State Command ASP Mohammed Jalige, while confirming the incident, said arrest has been made and investigations are ongoing.
The men of Castelia, the tipper driver and his conductor, had issues which resulted to beatings, and the driver and his conductor sustained varying degrees of injuries and were rushed to the hospital immediately for treatment. On getting to the hospital, one of them, the conductor, was confirmed dead by a medical doctor, while the driver was treated and discharged immediately. Now, the Commissioner of Police, Kaduna State Police Command, CP Mudasuru Abdullahi, has ordered for a full-scale investigation to be carried out into the matter. And investigation is currently ongoing. We have 4 suspects in connection to the incident, the case, in our custody.
Some residents of Kaduna Metropolis also expressed dissatisfaction with the way officials of the caste layer carry out their operations.
The authority, I will take them off the road. They are nuisance. Some of them are not educated. Some of them don't even know the rights of human rights, I will say. They don't know their job. I don't wonder what they were being trained.
There must be a kind or an iota of decorum from them. Many people are not happy because of the way they take it. They take this aspect of revenue collection or generation too hard, too pushing, and perhaps they refuse to take into consideration the level of poverty the citizenry are.
I don't have much idea about Castelia, but as I can see, they are performing, they are really performing, they are doing their best.
Officials of caste layer who were supposed not to carry arms have been accused of causing accident and harassing motorists with sticks. Since the reported incident, the caste layer officials were no longer on the roads as usual to carry out their work. No official is ready to speak on the matter.
You're watching Trust TV News Update coming up. Nasarawa River that drowns visitors only. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay.
Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. The virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. These particles range from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're near someone who has COVID-19 or by touching a contaminated surface and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The virus spreads more easily indoors and in crowded settings. Maintain a safe distance from others at least 2 meters even if they don't appear to be sick. Wear a mask in public, especially indoors or when physical distancing is not possible. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated. Properly fitted masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from the person wearing the mask to others. Masks alone do not protect against COVID-19 and should be combined with physical distancing and hand hygiene. Protect yourself and others around you by knowing the facts and taking appropriate precautions. Follow advice provided by your local health authority.
This message is brought to you by Trust TV. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update. Here are our top stories. Reverend Father Joseph Shekari, kidnapped by gunmen, has regained freedom after 48 hours in captivity. And associations and unions in the aviation industry on Tuesday suspended their planned nationwide industrial action billed to commence on Tuesday after signing a fresh memorandum of settlement with the federal government. Still ahead, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PBEC, says it remains committed to creating predictable and consistent policies for a progressive business environment to ensure macroeconomic stability. Jumoke Oduoli, Special Advisor to the President on Ease of Doing Business, said this on Monday at the focus group session of the 7th National Action Plan with stakeholders in Abuja. The event featured the launch of the PBEC's 7th 60-day National Action Plan. Take a look.
It's indeed my pleasure to give these opening remarks at this important focus group session with key stakeholders marking the launch of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council's 7th 60-day National Action Plan, NAP 7.0. The NAPs are homegrown, internationally recognized 60-day accelerators developed to coordinate the effective delivery of priority reforms implemented by select ministries, departments, and agencies to drive the ease of doing business in Nigeria. Since the inception of the Council in July 2016, the PBEC has undertaken over 160 reforms developed through the active engagement of private and public sector voices. To us, there's no better way to kickstart the 7th iteration of this exercise than presenting the latest approved reforms to the ultimate beneficiaries, representatives of the private sector, in the presence of the hard-working public and civil servants charged with the responsibility of actualizing these reforms approved by the Council.
You would understand that the issues around the port facilitation are actually very varied. You have infrastructure issues, you have process issues. Our goal really is to first of all work on the process issues. You also have other conversations going on. Last week when we had the PBEC meeting, the Honorable Minister of Works updated us on the construction of a road at that access. You see that between Apapa and Oshodi, serious work has been done. We have other buckets on that road that we expect that by June 2022 we would have some reasonable progress in that area. You also know that Lekki ports also, there's a long-term time to expand the capacity, to move some of the excess capacity from the Apapa ports to Lake. So there are a lot of issues. But for agro-exports, the goal is for us to boost the competitiveness of the agro-exports. We're working with the central bank to make sure that NXP process is faster and more seamless. We're also working with National Agricultural Quarantine Service, working with a lot of agencies just to make sure that, and more importantly, even also the NEPC, the Export Promotion Council, making sure that the domestic exports warehouse is also done within the next possible.
There you go, the ease of doing business. Now, to give us perspectives, on the outcome of that event, we have Gabriel Idahosa, Deputy President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, joining us from our Lagos studio. Thank you so much for taking time to join us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, former governor of the central bank, Sanusi Lamido, has painted a gloomy picture of the economy beyond 2023. Now, how will you compare the optimism of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council on microeconomic stability and his predictions?
Well, the economy is made up of very many sectors. You can count up to about 25 sectors of the economy, and at any point in time some sectors are doing well and some sectors are not doing so well. So both persons, the former emir and the PBEC, are right in terms of highlighting issues and sectors in the economy that have either done well or not done too well. So we have a balance of both sides. If you look at, for example, infrastructure information and communication technology. If you look at services, there has been significant improvement in those sectors of the economy. But if you look at manufacturing, if you look at agriculture, then they have been heavily impacted by the issues we have. The issues of power in manufacturing, the issue of security in agriculture. It means that some sectors are not doing well for reasons that are obvious. The sectors that are doing well are also doing well because there has been a lot of support to those sectors, either by government policy or by initiatives of operators in the economy. If you look at the creative industry, for example, the entertainment industry, the movie industry, it is essentially the enterprise of the operators in those sectors of the economy that have made those sectors continue to grow in spite of the challenges. So there is a balance of fortunes that are reflected in the optimism of Bebek and the not so optimistic view of the former emir.
The Lagos State government, has said there is high rate of unemployment in Lagos State because of the influx of people, coming into Lagos. But some have actually argued that shouldn't this be what will actually attract investment into the state?
Well, unemployment does not attract investments. What attracts investments are opportunities that you can grow in an environment that provides the facilities you need to grow. And if you then have vacancies, you can hire people who may or may not be resident at this point in time in a particular location. So that the influx itself, it is not sufficient reason to expect additional investments into Lagos. What will continue to attract investment into Lagos is the investment in infrastructure in Lagos, the very friendly policies of Lagos and how well they continue to improve those policies. Those are the things that will attract investment into Lagos. If you have a lot of unemployed people coming to Lagos, particularly if they have no skills to offer, even if the jobs become available, they will not be able to be employed, and so they just remain an extra burden on the infrastructure of the city, without having any skills to contribute to production. So that's the perspective about the influx of population to any place. It's the skills that the people are bringing, the opportunities for growth in the economy that to employ those people, and if you look at the balance of all of that, you don't have enough new businesses being created in Lagos to absorb the influx of at the current rates and magnitude that you continue to experience. So you have a large balance of unemployed people in Lagos who are not even employable because they don't have the skills that are relevant to the kind of industrial or commercial activities that are going on in Lagos. So that's a matter for concern, definitely, for the government of Lagos, how to cope with a very large population of newcomers into the town that do not have skills to be employable and do not have the knowledge or the resources to create new businesses. If they were coming in and creating new businesses, then that would be wonderful. It will be new investments, creating new jobs, and absorbing the extra people that are coming with them. But if all the new people are coming in and not creating jobs, then there will always be an excess supply of labor, even if they have the skills, let alone when they don't have the skills, so it becomes double jeopardy for the government to cope with.
Okay, so quickly now before we go, now Lagos State Governor recently signed into law a bill that requires registration of cooperative societies in Lagos. In your assessment, how will this enhance the status of Lagos as a commercial nerve center in the country?
Well, essentially, it's the registration of cooperative societies is in one way or the other done in all states and in fact in all economies, because for you to operate legally as a cooperative society, you have to get the certificate of registration. So indirectly, they are already registered. So what Lagos Statement is actually doing is to build a database of all cooperative societies that exist, because after getting their certificates of registration, there is no other database to show which ones are actually operating after getting the certificate or are still operating in Lagos. And once you have that certificate of registration as a cooperative society, you can actually go elsewhere. You can move to neighboring states and do business. So the main intention is to build a good database for cooperative societies. With that database, for example, you can help them, you can provide capacity building, you can give them access to finance. It's much easier for financial institutions to deal with cooperative societies because they have a known structure, they have a known address, they have a uniform rules and regulations for their members, and they can provide some kind of guarantee for facilities given to the members. So all of that will help to promote business at the small and medium enterprise level, where most of the cooperative societies operate. So the intention would be to enable government to not only directly support them, but link these cooperative societies with organizations like development partners who are looking for such small and medium enterprises to provide extra capacity, and then to financial institutions that want to focus on the small and medium enterprises. And it makes it easier for them to deal with them because they're already in the structure. It's much more difficult looking for small and medium enterprises all over the state of Lagos if you want to engage with them, either as a source of finance or as a source of capacity building. But once they are organized in cooperative societies, then it becomes extremely easy for them to be helped. Can contributors to the economy. So that's really the background.
Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us here on the program. We've been speaking with Gabriel Idahosa. He's the Deputy President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and he joined us from our Lagos studios. Now, in a very, very sad note, a public funeral has been held for a 5-year-old boy who fell into a well in Morocco, prompting a large-scale but ultimately unsuccessful rescue effort. Large crowds gathered in the village of Igran to mourn the boy, Rayyan Oram, who was trapped in the hole for several days as rescue crews attempted to dig deep into difficult terrain. Messages of support, concern and grief for the boy and his family poured in from around the world as the news of Rayyan's death spread late on Saturday. On Monday, hundreds of mourners climbed the hilly unpaved road leading to the cemetery in Igran in northern Morocco, where they waited for hours for the funeral to observe the Muslim burial rites. Condolences to the parents also came from King Mohammed, Pope Francis, French President Emmanuel Macron, Dubai ruler Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and others. Egyptian and Senegalese football players also held a minute of silence on Sunday before the kickoff of the final of the Africa Cup of Nations football tournament. With this, we've come to the end of a news update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thanks for your time and company.